Okay, thank you all for joining in very early. Let's kickstart and we'll have other people join us in the course of the webinar. All right, my name is Temi Olushala. I'm going to be hosting the third edition of the Growth Series, the Building a Winning Sales Team. And we have with us an amazing guest speaker. Yes, and I'm going to be giving a brief introduction of her. Please listen and let us celebrate her because, I mean, it's a rare one to have her in our midst doing this training with us. Her name is Omotola Dorcas, a transformative sales strategist and business growth expert with over a decade of experience in driving revenue growth, optimizing team performance, and empowering revenue generation teams to achieve exceptional results. She has a proven track record of success in various sectors, including sustainability, real estate, technology, insurance, edtech, and Web3. Wow. Omotola has established herself as a leading authority in sales optimization, revenue growth, and team performance enhancement. Her unique approach to building high-performing revenue generation teams, calibrating sales strategies, and optimizing results has garnered recognition and acclaim from clients and industry peers alike. As a passionate advocate for business growth and empowerment, she has supported over 9,000 professionals and over 500 businesses through her consulting and training firm, Virtual Domain. We want to put a hand of applause at this time, at this stage for her, right? Yes. And I'm just going to share what her current roles are. She's the founder and CEO at Virtual Domain. She's been the founder since 2015 till present, a consulting training firm dedicated to empowering businesses and professionals to achieve exceptional growth and success. She also is the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Oxtra. She is the co-founder and CEO at Echo Green and an independent agent across Africa for Blockchain Corporation. That is amazing. Please, a round of applause for our guest speaker. All right, let's get into the business of the day. We're going to be asking, questions to our guest speakers about the topic today, which is building a winning sales team. And if you ask me, what is building a winning sales team? It is typically creating a group of motivated, skilled professionals who consistently meet or exceed targets. That is their sales targets, right? And this involves hiring the right people, providing strong training, setting clear goals, and fostering collaboration and accountability to drive success and growth for businesses. This is why we have Omotola Dorcas in our midst today to elaborate on this and give us why this is important for businesses. Are we ready to have this session? I'm not going to go ahead if I don't see the emojis. Awesome. All right, guys, let's have it. Now we're going to be asking, we're going to have our guest speaker do a little bit of intro, and then we start with asking her questions. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you so much, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. It's always a pleasure working with the Advantar team. For some reasons, I see myself as an extension of the team, maybe an outsourced team member. And I think one of the reasons why I'm very, very interested in what the team is doing is because I see that you guys are a bunch of talented individuals, and it sits at the core of what I am all about. So whether you see me in tech, you see me in real estate, you see me in even the informal sector, where I played most of my life before crossing into um, the white collar job. Like even though I was or I am a graduate, I mostly played within the informal sector for almost 3 4 years. Like I sell rice, I sell palm oil, and I leveraged on my skill, to drive that particular field because for me, I personally believe that the talent economy of Nigeria is so wide. So whether it's the formal sector or the informal sector, I feel that there is a bridge. Of course, we know that 100% people on both ends of the divide may not be able to function 100% within the same system. And it is not because they are not intelligent, but because of the approach that both sectors will deploy when they are carrying out their businesses and day-to-day encounters. And also because of the the mindset, right, and the purchasing behavior of people within the informal and the formal sector. Those are just basically the things that may not allow people, to 100% bring or lift up whatever it is in the formal sector into the informal sector. But albeit it's still the same. So for me, when I see institutions like Advantar and I see how much of talent are sitting in one place and what you guys are doing for organization, it's something that I don't think I can run or wink my eye again. So like you said, my name is Omotola Dorcas. I love to pride myself in calling myself a growth specialist, um, because I am not only interested in the concept of generating a good business idea. I love and I live for it, seeing it fleshing up and seeing people, the ability for a business owner, be it a founder or a co-founder who is a visionary of a business, to communicate their value proposition and their vision and their idea to someone, and that person lacks in on it, even when money is not sitting in their account. For me, it's the biggest magic in the world that I can sit 100 people down in a room and I transfer what I am seeing, and I can strike a chord of resonance in them, and they believe it so much that they run with it, whether I have given them money for it or not. Like that's mind blowing. And that's one thing that I live for. That's one thing that when I see it's happening within an organization, or when I see an entrepreneur or a business owner or a management desiring to do that for their team, then I'm all for it. So basically, that's what we do. I'm all for seeing our agency constantly increasing in organization within their team. So when you talk about our agency, you're talking about bringing individuals and bringing them together as a collective and setting them on a course where they are so independent, but yet they rely on one another as a team to achieve a goal without management having to breathe over their neck. Like there's nothing as satisfying for for a business owner or for people at the management level than seeing, their team members function like that. So basically, that's what I'm all for, which was what actually drove my passion towards training and capacity development. And albeit now organizations see what you do for their team, and they're like, you need to let us know what you're doing. Like you need to show us. And I think that was where the aspect of the consulting started coming in from those demands. How are you able to get those people to be as efficient as possible? What did you say to them? How can we duplicate it? And for me, I'm not so much interested in the money generated from training because we could as well have just set up ourselves as a mini subsidiary within each organization. But I'm all for coming in to kickstart certain things within your organization and then setting your team or your management in place to keep the consistency. Right. So for me, that's what I'm all about. And that's what we are all about at Virtual Domain.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
Again, welcome to the third edition of the Growth Series. titled Building a Winning Sales Team. As you already can see, we have the biggest guest speaker who is a growth specialist. And I mean, with what you have just heard, I'm sure that you're expecting so much to get out, so much value to get out of this edition. All right, let's get started. Welcome again, everybody. Thank you for joining. We're going to be asking a few questions, and we're going to be listening. Please get your writing pads, your pad and your biro. Ensure that you're taking notes, right? The first question will be, what are the most common reasons sales teams underperform, and how can leaders recognize this early?
What are the question again?
Okay, what are the most common reasons sales teams underperform, and how can leaders recognize this early?
I think off the top of my head, you ask anyone who is into capacity development, they'll tell you poor hiring, because in the scale of things, there are always going to be the top things that contribute to either the success or the failure of a thing. There are a lot of them, but then I would say poor hiring, poor selection process. I would say low budget, even when it comes to your allocation for certain roles. I would say poor environment that cannot encourage motivation or inspiration beyond the compensation in terms of monetary reward that you give to them. But aside from all of this, the one thing that I've been preaching, I think I began this conversation like a week ago. I was talking about not having the right mix. The same way we have temperament now in, like our daily, like you say, I'm a sanguine, I'm a choleric, I'm a melancholy, I'm a phleg, and all of that. The same way you have those type of personalities that the psychologists and the behaviorists are set up in sales, there is also sales profiles or sales personalities. According to Matthew Dixon and Brent Adamson, among every other sales profile that has been listed, they put together prominent profiles that has been seen to be inherent in people. And I've been looking at this particular concepts for more than 3 years now, but I began talking about it more again, like I think a year ago. So there are those that you call the challenger, right? There are those that you call the charismatic. There are those that you call the lone wolves. There are those that you call the reactive problem solvers, and there are also those that you call the hard workers. As their name implies, you should already have a sense, right, of who they are. Don't mind me, I'm a very traditional person, so I have my notes written. So in case you see me looking down, just to keep my thoughts in place. So as you have those names tagged to each personalities on profiles, you can easily depict what they are about. Before I go into explaining what each of these profiles or personalities are, I have found out that in the bid to put together a sales team, management often prioritizes the goal, which is to achieve revenue growth, over certain foundational things that needs to be set up. They prioritize how much do we want to pay our salesperson. They prioritize what type of commission do we want to set up. They prioritize what type of behavioral pattern or mannerism do we want to look out for in the interview. They prioritize experience and skills, which are actually good things. They are good things, not that they are not important. But when it comes to sales, some people have sweet mouth, like myself, right? We go on a stage or we coming into your interview room, we some sort of way can easily predict what your question can be, because we understand that sales is the lifeline of any business. So whether we have read something before, because that is very peculiar of salespeople, training, reading, talk to people, we understand the psychology of people, why they buy, why they choose, and all of those things. So we can easily bring those framework and bring it into the interview. Now, for a person who has not worked a lot with a salesperson, it's difficult for you to decipher between when this person is just being plain smart and when this person truly understands what they are saying and what type of personality trait they would, in terms of percentage, have the most. So, an organization that is a startup is basically looking for revenue. So they will want to look for somebody who has experience closing big deals, right? So you see questions like, what's the biggest deal that you have made in your lifetime as a salesperson? Or how did you manage this conflict? Now we all know, right? What was your most difficult client? How did you manage it? If you had an escalation of a problem from a potential customer that is supposed to close a big deal, and you know that if you don't close that deal, you will not hit your target. Those type of practical questions, which of course are necessary. But rather than listening to the answers that they are giving, it is necessary to pay attention to the personality behind the voice, right? The thought process behind all of what the person is saying. Because behind that personality is the person you should be looking out for. Now, challengers are very confident people. They are more like the most confident of all the different type of salespeople. They are very result driven. They are very strategic in their mind. They are very, very analytical. They nothing can easily get past them. It is easy for a challenger to sit down with the potential client, and within the first 5 to 10 minutes, they have a sense of whether this person will buy or not, and the potential deal size in terms of lifetime value that this person can contribute to them. They are usually like the elites, right? The elites like of salespeople. If you have a challenger in your team, you know that they are constantly hitting their target. If not 100%, at least they are close to that bar. Now, you have the charismatic. Charisma, you already understand what that is. Charismatic people are relationship builders. And you know that building relationship and, securing that rapport with a potential client is important. But the thing is, there is a downside. While you are trying to prioritize building relationship, while you're trying to prioritize securing that person, in sales and even in marketing, you would hear with your KLT factor, your know, your like, and your trust factor. Now, because most salespeople are designed like that, you must be proactive enough, and you must have mastered that experience and that process enough to know when to not drive prioritizing relationship over the most important things that are necessary to you securing the interest and pushing the potential client further down into your sales funnel till you close. So when you see charismatic salespeople, they are those type of salespersons that are very, very charismatic. They are very sociable. They easily know how to start an old question. Those ones, when you're on the interview, they know how to catch you and take you on a cruise, take you through storytelling. They know how to use storytelling a lot. But then you realize that even in the interview, they sometimes forget why they are even there, because they get so absorbed in the euphoria of the good results that they have done that they sometimes neglect the process and the analysis that actually help them to achieve that, which is what you are most likely looking for. You see, the same way they did that during interview is the same way when they are actually performing as salesperson, is the same way they neglect certain concepts and goal. The goal is to sell, but you realize that these people, they know how to generate leads. They know how to work on cold leads or even inbound leads, but they struggle to close. because they take too much of importance in building that rapport and they neglect the ultimate sales goals. I don't know if anybody has ever met someone like that. If you have, let me know in the comment section, right? Because there are people like that. They are the life of the party. They go into meetings and they are generating leads. And you will think that as a salesperson, lead generation is why you are here. Of course, I believe in populating your pipeline conversation. I believe in your strength and your ability to be able to prospect and generate leads. But then, how do you take them and you move them? You can seamlessly move people from one point to another point. You drive them because the idea is not to only generate interest. It is to secure that interest and you drive them to consideration. Because within your sales funnel and within your marketing funnel are the different stages that are at start. Prospecting, lead generation, qualification, interactions or engagement, your follow-up, your documentation, your closing, and then your retention strategy at the bottom. All of these things are milestones that you must be able to quickly, if you cannot automate it as an individual, and look for ways to engage in conversation that does not keep you. Because you're talking to somebody and your typical sales cycle has been determined to be 1 month. Some persons in 2 weeks still just trying. How long do you want to do that for? How many people will you have to engage before you can? Because for me, I would always tell a person, in the end of your first week, you should already have been giving me a sense of, I think I can close 2 at the end of this month. I think I can close 3. And you're not just guessing. It's because of the lineup of conversation that you have and how far gone each of these persons are. So you must be careful. So if your goal as an organization is to scale, you do not want to have a charismatic person as being the highest population. That's for people who have a big sales team. You do not want to have that kind of person in the game. They don't even know how to kick off and begin to get results. They are more of people that you bring in after you have done a lot at the top of the funnel. So you bring them in to help you consolidate and then they transfer. Because for me, I'll always tell an organization, you should have different processes managed by different salespeople in your sales team. Because some persons are good at opening that conversation. Some persons are better at following up and keeping the conversation, keeping the interest, and driving them to the point where they can make that decision. While others are bulldozers, like lone wolves, they are bulldozers. They don't need the team. They are the type of people that working with somebody can distract them, especially if the person that you are keeping them or you are pairing them with as a partner is a charismatic or is a reactive problem solver who is not proactive. So you can see in a person multiple personalities being expressed. So what you want to do as a management or as a team lead is to be able to profile each of your salespeople to know within the percentage of personalities that we have known that each salesperson should have. Having engaged with this person, even when you carry out a personality test, which I always encourage, right? What does it look like this person has in terms of percentage? Because one person can have 3, especially ladies. Like, you see the same way our mood swings like menstrual cycles is the same way we can move in this. It's the same way we can move like that. That movement, don't mind me, that movement can occur. I'm a lady and I understand that. Sometimes you are talking with a client and they are pressing your neck. They are so pressing your neck and you want to hold back. But there's still a skillful way to do that without necessarily pouring out emotions. Because sometimes pouring out emotions in conversations are the work of the people who spoil it most are charismatic because they are very, very emotional. So going to lone wolves, these guys they're not necessarily a team player, but they get the job done. So you want a field sales representative, or you want a commercial executive who does a lot of B2B interactions, who does a lot of retail interactions, then you want a lone wolf who also has some sprinkle of a challenger and some sprinkle of charismatic. So the thing is, understanding this mix is important, and most people do not know it. When we are saying it, it will look like, sorry, what is all this psychology about in sales? You know, like, let's just buy and sell. No, it's more than that. It's more than that, to be candid, because selling is psychological. Selling is very, very psychological. It is driven highly by emotions. And if you do not know how to, I want to say this thing, it's definitely not conventional. There are a lot of whining that goes in conversation. There is a personality to understand how to go before you without getting distracted. And lastly, the problem solvers, you already know them. People that you are giving, they did not even generate this. I don't like these people on my team. They did not generate this leads by themselves. You have even tried an organization to invest money in events and marketing. You have used Advantar to generate leads. And then you give these people leads, asking them to give you a report of the leads that you have generated. They are so dull. I'm sorry. Independently as a person, they are sharp. But I don't know, there's just this bluntness in their edge that comes to be when it comes to kicking off communication and kicking off the sales process. They are just okay somewhere in the, just look for something for them. Me, I prefer to put them at the qualification stage, right? At the qualification or at the documentation stage where they don't always have to talk with somebody. Maybe they are just working. So some of them would be entry level. Some of them would be entry level or people towards the early stage of their mid-level, because to put them at the early stage of prospecting or lead generation or first interaction and the latter stage of your process is a bad idea. Like it's like somebody going into a marriage with all the red and blue and all the rainbow flags, and yet you are still going into it when you are not LGBTQ. Like you can't afford to do something like that, right? So for me, I would always say you must understand what are the. So this is to say that initially said that the recruit. Don't mind me, Temi, I've already told you all the questions that you gave me. One question can use 1 hour.
I'm enjoying the session. Please go ahead, Ma.
All right. So if you understand this, you need to ensure that when you are doing that interview, especially for sales, I told you they have mouths like me. You need somebody who can discern them like a prophet, can judge, knows the right question to ask to bring out that personality when you are in the interview. If not, posters are the people that you bring together. And if you're not careful, you just have a bunch of people that are always bringing girlfriends and boyfriends into your team without any intention to buy. I'm very sorry for boyfriend and girlfriend. But
Oh, geez.
I hope I answered your question.
Yes, ma'am, you did. You did. I mean, I have a couple of other questions in it, but I'm just going to ask you just one before we move on to the actual second question. I mean, you mentioned something about businesses when they're trying to hire people, they should try to hire, I mean, looking at the different personalities, hire the ones who can start the conversations, hire the ones who can carry on the conversation, that's the charismatic ones, then hire the people who can close the deals. Now, bringing this into small business owners who do not have the resource to bring in this number of employees, how do you think they can manage bringing in just one person if that is what their resource can afford?
So
and
if
still get
you
the
in
results.
my conversation, you realize that I said that a person can have multiple personalities. You already know the type of person I am from all the explanation I've given to you,
Yes.
right? Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So for
everywhere
me,
and beyond.
so for me, to be candid, of course, I am more of a challenger, but I also have a very significant number of charismatic in me, which is why when I'm talking with people, for me, this is my age. Having write-ups like this to, or maybe presentation to guide my thoughts, or having systems and structures to guide my processes, holding myself accountable to a team member is my own way of guiding myself. Do you understand? If you want somebody that will be following up people every day, I am the wrongest person for you to put on your team. I hate that thing like crazy. It bores me. But you are telling me this is a new lead that we need to pursue. Hey, okay, I don't go. Eh? Tell me that we have an event and we need to generate 20 leads. I will give you 80. I don't struggle to do that. Tell me that we have to do some outreaches and we need to talk to people en masse. I'm all for it. But don't tell me to sit down. I will be calling, we'll be documenting, I cannot do telesales. I may come because I feel like they are looking for, I can lead a team of telesales because of my leadership skills and prowess, but I cannot function as a telesales person. Not because I don't understand how, but because I don't enjoy it. And because I don't enjoy it, I would easily get uninspired along the line. So inspiration actually and motivation is very core to the result that a salesperson achieves at the end of the day. It's not because they are not good or they don't know. Do you retain that consistency of inspiration? How do you retain that consistency in motivation? That's where understanding their profiles, personality types comes in. So a person can have three and have others in little proportion. So that's why I said, even if you're a small business owner, have somebody on your team. For people that organization, Virtual Domain also does recruitment. So for some organization, what we do is that we begin the early, we could be the one that will do the sorting for you and then turn over to you based on the people that we have engaged. Some of these people, you may not even like their profile of where they have worked because you think they've not worked in big organization, but that's not what we are looking at. Just people know how to jump ship. They are, let me say, you sure you know people that we say they jump ship. They move from one place to another.
So, yeah.
Yeah, they are not loyal. It is where the commission and the money is big, except they love that organization and that environment where they are in. Because first people are very sensitive. They are sensitive to people and their emotions because that is what they ride on as their tool for productivity. So if a salesperson or a sales team is not having a very conducive environment, right? Or even if at the interview stage, they're not feeling your vibes, they will not feel their vibes. So for a small business owner who does not have a budget of hiring a lot of persons, then I would tell you at the interview stage, look for people based on what you want to achieve as an organization. I said it. Some people just want to scale. Some startups are just setting out. So you want to look for people who, if you throw them into the ocean, they can navigate their way with little or no supervision. So a lone wolf, so a person with the profile of a lone wolf with a challenger and a charismatic profile in one person is what you should look out for. Because the same thing exists when you're looking at the human psychology, right? In terms of personality, a person could have a better percentage of choleric and still be a melancholy. So most leaders are a blend of melancholy and choleric, and maybe a little teeny bit. Some of them could be a phlegm or a teeny bit of sanguine, which is what they spend when they go to social gathering. That's why it is easy for you to see them to just zoom back again and just carry phone like me, and I can be there, and I'm okay. Do you understand? So you don't necessarily have to have that money. So you need to find that. Another thing is this: you need to create an environment for them. So even if you cannot hire all the different personality types, the team members that are complementary. You know that it's just like having a robot. A robot is interdependent on the mechanism that are set up within it. So as one hand is moving, another leg is moving. Those things that are, they're like moving clockwise and anti-clockwise. There must be compatibility in the personality types of the different team members that you are setting up across the different departments. Whether you even have just 3 departments, it's not an excuse. So you must be thorough in your selection of your team, so long as sustainability of the business is what you have at the core, not just revenue generation. That is very, very important.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much for
You're
that.
welcome.
I got that well. All right. We'll go on to the next question quickly, and that will be, what are the biggest opportunities companies miss when they do not invest in building a high-performing sales team?
What they miss?
What do they miss? Yes.
What I want to say might not be significant to somebody, right?
Okay.
But there's nothing like building a loyal team. There's nothing like loyalty within your team. And I can tell you that when you invest in your team, you contribute to how far they go in their career and to how much of quality you increase their life in terms of economic value. Your ability to support or to fund that, either by the activity you set up or by the reward that you give them at work, such that they go home or they go back into the society, they feel like, this organization is doing a lot for me. Or they look back at how far they have come and they can say, Advantar organization has done this significantly for me. They did not only employ me, they invested in my career development, increasing my chances of not just my purchasing power, of my relevancy within my industry, within the sector that I play, such that should I leave Advantar today and I move into another institution, I will be an earthquake. I will still be a force to reckon with. There's nothing like having that. For me, that's the ultimate. Forget revenue. Because a salesperson who is really good that you bring into your business, depending on the season, depending on, business is very, very tricky. The person can be pursuing and investing a lot and may not close any significant deal in the 2-3 years that they are with you. And just in the 3rd, 4th year, it does not look like that is the only person in the organization that knows how to do well. Because sales and revenue creation is very tricky. There's nothing like God's grace in business. Business space is not fair. It will not be fair, right? Because it is hinging on a lot of things that are outside our control. So many times, investing secures for you a loyal force, a loyal employee or loyal employees, who at the end of the day, when they leave your enterprise and they go, there's nothing like having brand ambassadors that you are not paying for. It's the same way I tell organizations at your retention stage. After a client or after your clients have used a couple of your services and they are enjoying it, how you take care of them goes a long way in whether they will become foot soldiers for you or not. Because for me, that is always my ultimate. How do I turn every single person that interacts with my business into foot soldiers? I can tell you that 80% of my clients, they did not come from paid promotion. They came from referrals. They came from referrals. And these are referrals from people that have worked with me, either as employees or as clients. Imagine that I am writing something for myself and I want to apply for a loan. Do you know it's easy for me to reach out to any of my clients I have worked before or somebody that I've delivered a service to become a guarantor for me, and they don't ask me questions. Why? It is because of the investment that I have put into it as an individual and also as an organization into securing beyond, the interaction of buying and selling, to secure into it a personal relationship, which is what investing in your team, training them, investing in capacity development, providing the required technology that would automate processes, organizations. I will not mention the e-commerce company. It's a very, very popular one, right? We all know them if I mention them. I was recruiting for a food business. That was last week. I just recruited the lady last week. She's an operations person there. Do you know that they don't have a technology that they are leveraging for their operations? No wonder they are not as high performing as Jumai that we all know. Like if I mention their name now, you will know them. They do a lot of things manually. So it is easy for a lady who has worked with them for 6, 8 years to leave without blinking. Because you're not creating an environment of productivity and efficiency is not just in the reward of monetary value, but also, do you have the right technology? Do you have the right team mix? Do you have the right work culture? What is your roadmap? Can I teach? Okay, for example, they're planning a facilitation for a retreat for this same organization. And I was telling them, because one of the problems that they wanted to solve is that they train people and at the end of the day, they leave. Of course, that's some of the problems that businesses have when they think about training people. We train them at the end of the day, they will jack out of the organization to other places. And for me, I'd be like, it's okay. You can't hold people down. You just want it's trust and see it as an investment in your business. Every investment comes with a risk. So whenever you're going to train anyone, you should be sure what you're training them on. And you should be sure that whatever you're training them on is something they can use immediately as a job necessity, not just throwing money into the bank or throwing money out there. You say we have training budget, and that budget must be exhausted, as some big organizations do. So they don't mind just sending them to, I'm sorry, there are some people that you don't even need to send them to a place like Lagos Business School. Except, I know people who only go to Lagos Business School, not because of what they want to learn, but because of networking, so that they can get business deals or they can be in the circle of people. Now, I am very, very particular about the type of people that I am learning with, because I am not only learning from the teachers, I also should be able to participate in learning and peer-to-peer mentoring. But imagine that a person coming into such kind of program is not even coming because they want to learn, but because of what is in it for them in terms of deals. Is my learning process complete? Is that beneficial to my organization? Did I achieve anything that is close to the percentage that I might be looking for? Of course, in terms of branding, I can say that I sent 5 of my staff to LBS, or I sent 5 of my staff to Harvard. But what relevance is that to that individual, to where they currently are at in their career? Some things are it's just like the Holy Book we say. Some things are very good and beautiful. They might even be lawful, but are they expedient? So you must ensure that as a business person, as a founder, a co-founder, a management, whatever you are doing must be expedient and must be something that you can immediately translate on the job, because that is the way the person feels like they are no longer indebted and they are free to live and to work with you without feeling like as if something is hovering over their head. I've interacted with people that are sent into trainings and they'll be like, do people know what we are doing here? They just say we should come and do training. Like there are a lot of things that we see in this training field. People, even some of these business government officials, they just send people into training just so that on the record they can say they trained 100 people. but of what use is that training to the career trajectory and also to the personal vision? I was talking about the retreat. I was telling them something. Sometimes people forget that they have personal vision and ambition. Tell me, as you are like this, whatever made you become part of the founding team of Advantar, the day you lose touch of that personal goal and ambition, you realize that it does not matter how significant the result that Advantar is getting as an institution, you will not feel satisfied. Your motivation will need a lot. You will need a lot of God, I beg, to get you to begin to become highly functional. High agency reduces in people like that. So for me, those are the losses and those are the opportunities.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much. Once again, this is the third edition of the Growth Series, and we're talking about building a winning sales team. We have with us our guest speaker, Omotola Dorcas, who is doing amazing to all the questions that we're putting out there. I mean, if you're a young business owner, if you've been into the business for a long time and you're a top business owner, you're learning something from here, right? I want you to please put things down, learn, ask questions. You can as well drop your questions right now in the comment sections, and we'll answer it as soon as we have the chance to. Before we move on, I will just like Kayode to say something about Advantar, what we do, and then, yes, we go on with answering the questions. Kayode, are you with us?
Oh yes, I am. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Kayode speaking here. Just to make it quick and brief. Advantar basically is a growth and media agency, and essentially what we do is to help businesses, generate revenue. That's like the simple thing that we do. And I'm actually amazing having Omotola here again. Omotola has been, like she said, she's like an extension of us. All right. So yeah, thank you so much everybody for joining in. There are two offers that we have for businesses, going into 2025. But we're going to be speaking about that at the end of this session. So please do stick around and make sure you're jotting down, make sure you're putting things down. Also, if you have any questions, please make sure to write them down or drop them in the comment section. Definitely when we get there, we are going to be picking those questions. Have a blast, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayode. One thing I like to say, my CEO is so humble. He just came and said, Advantar helps people generate revenue. We do more than that,
Yeah.
so
don't mind them.
we do
That's how
more
they
than
do.
that, so but don't worry, we'll give you all the gist about what we do, how we can serve your businesses at the end of this sessions. Let's get back to answering the questions with our guest speaker. I mean, we're getting into one of the biggest questions, and so get ready. This question will be, how can businesses balance product training and developing sales skills like negotiation and objection handling?
It's because of you. If you know what I have written here, like there are a lot of things in my head, and
Okay.
I just needed to them in a place. Repeat your question again. Let's start the first part. So I'll take it.
Okay, ma.
Time.
Okay. So, how can businesses balance product training and developing sales skills like negotiation and objection handling?
Okay, so we'll start from balancing product training. Now, it is impossible for you to sell a thing that you do not know or understand. Very, very impossible, right? And if, as a business, you do not have, so there's some basic things that I usually tell businesses to have, whether you're a big established business or you are a small scale business, there are some things that are very, very important, right? Take for instance, maybe you're into, sorry, let's know what are the different type of businesses here so I can use any of us, as example.
Okay.
Let me see comment
This is
section.
open.
Yes?
Right.
Who can really use their business? Yes.
Yes,
Can
I think we
somebody
have
just,
somebody talking.
oh, yeah, who's that?
Yes.
Yeah, I said rice vest.
Rice vests. Rice vests.
Yeah.
Oh, Rice Vest. Rice Vest. That should be the investment.
Investment, yeah.
I think I know Rice Vest. Very good. Very good. So let's say we have a platform like Rice Vest, right? And you're bringing together a salesperson. Before you bring together your salespeople as a team, there are certain documents that you must have. And depending on how you create that document and your means of distributing that document across the organization, determine the fastest means of communicating to the team, everything that they need to know about your product, everything that they need to know about the institution, right? And that also invariably translates into how they can communicate your value proposition to your client. Take for instance,
Temi already said that I have
a recycling business, which I'm the co-founder and CEO. I remember when we were going to be setting up Eco Green, what we needed was something that we could automate. Because as you can see, I have 3 other institutions that I am part of the senior management. My other co-founders also have like various businesses that they are part of. And we can't always be attending meetings, right? We can't always be in meetings like every week. So what did we do? We took a minute to sit behind the camera. Rather than create just a document or a brochure with pictures and, information in text, we created a video, and that video communicated to the people that will be listening to it about the business, our vision, our mission, and also breaking down each of these products into sizable bits. The same way you have a self-paced learning platform where you have information broken down into different bits. That was also what we did. Just put it on your favorite, or maybe create a playlist for it on YouTube. As simple as that, right? And what we do is that every time there's somebody who is onboarded into the team, we do not restrict product training to just salespeople. Because I would always say it when I have trainings in the boardroom, or I'm having training in the classroom, or maybe it's online. I tell people, everybody in your organization I think I said it also when I was in the training with Advantar the last time, whether you are a security or you are a cleaner, it does not matter who you are a salesperson and you are selling something about the organization. As a gatesman in an organization, your gatesman should be able to confidently, in the most basic way possible, communicate to a stranger who just walks in. They want to know what this institution is about. Can you tell me what this institution is about? They don't need, I remember when I was working with an analytics firm, we were just a bunch of 12 salespersons, and we were selling technical courses. We were also selling technical solutions. My CEO will say, guys, I don't need you to understand the depth of what you are selling. All I need you to understand is the length and the breadth. And I can tell you we were so robust, such that when I moved from there to a cloud computing firm at AWS Partners, it was easy for me to sell cloud computing solutions, and you will never know that I'm just a linguistic student, a linguistic graduate. I have played within tech, Web3, blockchain, all of these sectors, simply because of the basic information, the breadth, right, and the whatever is it that is necessary, so long as it relates to the business sense, so long as it relates to the business aspect of the business. And you know what I mean by the business aspect, the transactional aspect, the transactional aspect and the retail aspect of your business. So for a business like RiseVet, what you want to look out for is you want to really, at every touch point, have materials that are communicating to persons and spread it out periodically. So for some organizations like Virtual Domain, right, what I do for my team is every Friday, there is a presentation that we are into a rotational activity. So irrespective irrespective of your department, you are going to be doing a presentation. So if Omotola did a presentation today, then Seun is doing tomorrow, then Olakunle is doing, then Obajulaye is doing, then Daniel is doing, right? So all of that helps me at the end of the day to be able to determine or to be able to judge how much of understanding does everyone in the organization know about what we sell. Today, because my sense of my notion when it comes to entrepreneurship is, and the reason why I am very, very comfortable spreading into different aspects of business is because I don't see myself staying in virtual domain for too long. At the end of the day, I would stand down as CEO of virtual domain, hire someone who can take it up. I've been doing this since 2015. So how best can I create such kind of culture if I do not have a system, or if I do not have processes that constantly bring to mind product knowledge? Just restricted to product knowledge, like word into it is my wife, a business visionary, as the one who initiated the business. So I'm sure you know that the way a visionary who brought about the business will talk about the business and the service they provide, and a salesperson that must have been working in 5 years or 10 years, the way we will talk about it will be different. But if that person has really interacted with me and has come to understand why I even decided to launch the business in the first place, when they are selling the business or the service or the product to another third party, they are going to be talking more from the angle of purpose than from the angle of just product knowledge, technical aspect of the business. So what exactly is the value, and also what exactly is the impact? Do you understand? What exactly is the purpose? What exactly is the value? And what is the impact that this particular product is pushing? So I would say that as much as you are creating that document and you are putting together such information around product, service, comparison, competitors analysis, all of that, also web inside of it, the purpose and the impact of people using that service into it. Because at the end of the day, it takes it away from just onboarding material to becoming an indoctrination material. So that is a very, very important thing, that organization. So you do it as much as you can. I do it every Friday. A presentation that covers the entire what the domain is about. In breaking down into it the different service and the rationale for every service. That's how I designed within my organization. And we create a rotational in terms of frequency. Every Friday, 10 to 11, we have that meeting. So everyone is already, and what we do at the end of the day is once a person presents, then the people who are listening, which are other team members, are declined. So we do some sort of role play, you get. So what happens is we are also training ourselves not only in pitch presentation, but also we are streamlining and removing, filtering languages that are not necessary, that do not adequately capture the essence of what we do. So these things are very, very important. Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, you did. Amazing. Thank you so much for that. RiseVest, we used your company as a sample case. Did you get something? You already said you got something, but do you want to ask a question, like a follow-up question quickly?
I think I know I've not spoken to negotiation and doing objection, but
yes,
I think the hand raised up already. Okay, also has a hand raised.
Yes. RiseVest, Gertrude, please go ahead.
Hi. That was very nice. So much. I know
I like
didn't
your name.
Thank you.
It's unique.
It makes me remember Miss from one night.
Exactly.
Is that Shakespeare?
Exactly. Anyways, thank you. It's been so nice listening to the station, and I'm so sorry I came in late. I didn't ask that question, but the question spoke to me, and I'm glad RiseVest got to be the case study eventually. So my follow-up question to what you said about RiseVest would just be you mentioned when we're creating a doc, we should look at impact, value, purpose of people using our product, role playing for team members. I wanted to ask, first of all, if team members are going to make presentations, how often? Is it a weekly thing or once in a month? Is it going to be just like a KSS session, a knowledge sharing session where they are making
Right.
presentations about the
I will advise that it's weekly. I will advise
okay.
that it's weekly. This is
Okay.
why. The reason is because you might not update the document, but the truth is, for every time that we interact with the market, there's always something to update. For every time that we interact with the market, there's always something to add. And our ability to interpret what the market is saying each time we are presenting, even if we are using the same presentation, is important. And getting across that information across board is likewise important, because while the product managers or the product marketers or developers might be gathering information, marketing is also gathering information from sentiment analysis, right, to gathering information around feedback, pushbacks, all of these things. See, salespeople are very wonderful. Salespeople, we are very, very wonderful. That is why when there is going to be a need, when there's going to be a need for product development, you don't do it in isolation. It has to be done as a collaborative effort, even as far as bringing in even your CFO and your operations manager into product development, because they need to, the CFO will want to understand, okay, in terms of pricing, should you want to update or upgrade or modify the service based on the feedback? You know, some people will come and tell you, the market is not buying. Some people will come and tell you, they are pushing back. Competitors are doing this. And as management, if you don't have that robust understanding, it will be difficult for you to, I know salespeople. I've worked with salespeople for more than 10 years, almost 15 years. I know us. And when we are not hitting targets, we can easily put the blame on the market, on the economy. We can easily put the blame on the purchasing power of the people is so low, or competitors are trying something different.
Even the product itself.
Creative. Even the product itself needs to be upgraded. I hear. Lamba is very plenty when we are doing our report. So management needs to be able to, over time, the way you can track what we are doing as salesperson, the way you can read in between the lines is when you hear us talk every time. And that weekly interaction gives you that opportunity to do that. It doesn't have to be so much. Just a 1 hour session. Have 1 or 2 members of the team always do a rotational presentation. And try not to put some sort of things on it that makes it look like if you don't present. Make it as fun and jovial as possible, right? And not necessarily like downplaying the seriousness of the meeting, but not necessarily something that is very, very serious. So for we do that every Friday morning. And you know, Friday already is not really so serious already. So just to have the certain things. So you are measuring their presentation skill, you are getting feedback from the market, you are measuring and you are looking at how is the market romancing and engaging the product. What is their understanding of the market? How advanced are they in the understanding of your product? Are they pivoting away? Because unconsciously, some people pivot away when they feel like the market is responding in a different way. And unconsciously, you just see them tilting like this. Oh, wow, like the head is tilting. And then nobody is there to say, oh yeah, stretching up. So that's where feedback becomes important. You know, I was saying that for my institution, the team members become the clients. So we hear what they are not saying, right? We hear what they are not saying. We hear what they are even saying that they themselves do not even know that they are saying. Because sometimes a salesperson presents and you're asking questions. According to what you said, this is what you said. Is this what you mean? And then they'll be looking at you like, but no, that is not what I said. I'm like, but no, like when you gave this report, you mentioned this, I mentioned that. So it also helps them to circle back, right, and to also keep track of whatever it is that they are not even aware that they are bringing to us as data. So weekly for me is the most efficient. And this is something that I learned in my previous organization and how impactful it was.
Amazing, amazing. Gertrude, did you get that? Are you satisfied with that?
Gertrude says you need
She needs the recording. Yes, okay. So yes, for persons asking for the recordings, I mean, this could be shared, could be, but we'll talk about this at the end of the day. You could please send us an email to advantar.xyz, right? Send us an email and we'll look into advantar.xyz. Yes, you can send us a DM there. Yes, we'll look into sending this recording to you after a one-on-one session, that is, right? Before we move on, because we're running out of time, I would like each and every one of us who haven't spoken, who have not raised our hands, to give a round of applause, a virtual applause for our guest speaker, because I mean, the knowledge has been, come on, guys. Come on. Yes, ma, clap for yourself. And I will go ahead to give you a heart. Yes, you have done so great. Thank you so much. Oluwaseyi, thank you. I can see your hands up. I mean, I see you and I remember you every single time when we're having this growth series, and I'm happy you're here again. You will be asking your questions soon. If you can, drop it in the comment section. Let's just have our guest speaker touch on the last question for now before we move on to question and answer session, right? Thank you. Yeah. All right, so ma'am, the last question for you would be, how can startups and smaller businesses compete with larger companies to attract top-tier sales talent?
I want us to really talk about that negotiation.
Okay, okay, you know what? Okay, let's go into that first. Let's go into that first.
Yeah, because it's important. It's important, at least. I think it ties it back to what we have been talking about before. So let me have that question on negotiation and objection, and then we'll go to.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so it says, how can businesses balance product training with developing sales skills like negotiation and objection handling?
Okay, so you remember that I was saying that one of the essence of the product knowledge and creating a system around it is so that you can get feedback. Now, when sales teams do not have good product knowledge, it is difficult for them to interact with the market. It is difficult for them to undo the objections that they interact with. Typically, we would always say in the training session, every salesperson must be optimistic. They must understand that everything is not equal in the market. And I've also said that God's grace, or God will do it, is also not a business strategy. The most important thing is your understanding of who your ideal target market is, your understanding of the product in terms of product knowledge, your understanding of the impact, not of your business, the impact of the product. So take, for instance, when we are applying for funds, right, either to enter into an accelerator or you're applying to maybe get some grants or funds. So you have explained about you, your target market, your competitors, your differentiators. Then there's a question they ask you. What is the impact for your business? Now, if it is for a business to design or to talk about what their impact is, but organizations fail to understand that impact should actually trickle down from just the entire concept of your vision and mission to even what is the impact or the value that the product that you have contributes to the people who use it. And I realize that when salespeople really, when they drive and when they work, right, when they do it, when they engage the market from the point of impact, from the point of value, it goes a long way. I'm currently working on an article that I'm going to publish tomorrow. And I'm talking about the fact that companies don't compete with companies. Value chain competes with value chain. Meaning that, take for instance, how many times, Temi, do you go to MTN website to go and buy data?
Not maybe once in a
Where do you buy your data from?
direct from my bank app.
Direct from your bank app. Is your bank app MTN?
No.
No. Now, every organization must be able to figure out what are the contributing elements that determines the value chain that customers need or will interact with in order to be able to use their product.
Just to simplify the process.
Yes, a salesperson who understands that will know how to marry the knowledge that they have about the product with the knowledge that they have about the channel and the knowledge that they have about what the customer is looking for. Why did they even choose that platform in the first place? It determines what their marketing strategy will be. There was a time people never thought of it. MTN never thought that they should include their loading of their data or the loading of their airtime into the features of a bank. They never thought about going into a partnership. For example, RiseVest is into investment. I'm sure that if they look at it right now and they are looking at, oh, we are an investment platform, where can we go to? Aside from Facebook, Instagram, Google, doing a newsletter to people. But you know that as leaders as collaborating with communities and leveraging on the newsletters of communities that host their target market, as simple as that thing is, that will not even cost them as much as they will pay to a Dorcas or as much as they will pay to a Google. As little as that is, can contribute significantly to their customer acquisition. Now, if a client or if potential clients are coming from predictable channels that you have identified within the value chain that your organization use in delivering your service or in selling your service or your product, it makes it easy for your salespeople to know how to interact with those people, because it means that that channel has filtered the people coming from that place. So your understanding of the channel and the people that come from that channel, your understanding of your product and the impact that is expected from the people that are coming from the channel that you are using, when you tie them together, you realize that battling with pricing becomes almost null and void. Why? Because you have filtered the funnel and you have put your business in a position where it is easy for you to predict what the potential response of people coming from that channel will be. So at that point, it might suffice you to just talk about the benefits and the features of the product. But to drive it home, you can now start talking about, okay, what's the economic impact? What's the social impact? What is the career impact? How does it align to the desires of man? And what hierarchy does it fall under? So all of these things are very, very important. Also, when your team have very good product knowledge, deploying a sales, there's a type of sales thing that I love to use called the consultative selling. That happens when a salesperson does not just take a product or the knowledge that they have of a product, do not just take it as a pill and just want to shove it down the throat of somebody that they are selling to. But they sit down as a consultant that I am and allow, depending on the type of question that they are asking from that person, because number one, they know their products and they know what their product can do. And they know the client and they know what this type of client, what they have in terms of problems, right? In terms of need, why they are even looking for their type of service. They already know it. So they use that information to determine the type of question that they would ask. For every question that is being asked, They know where to pull in their knowledge of the product or service to answer. Is it in feature? Is it in value? Is it in impact? Is it in price comparison? Is it in competitors analysis? Is it in review? Do you understand? Is it in the history of upgrade? Because we don't even know that the history of upgrade for a product and the reason for the history and the reason for the upgrade, right, in terms of trajectory and milestones are also part of product knowledge. But we think just talking or giving description, right, it's just let us just create a product. The description, the target market, who is it for, benefit, disadvantage, create FOMO, and that's it. No, it's beyond that. And for me, that's why I can be very ruthless when I'm in the training section, because I don't like it when a team or an organization sticks with just the generic framework of certain things. Every product is dynamic and your market is dynamic. And if you cannot differentiate yourself in the market, right, it's a waste of money. It's a waste of funds. Do you understand? It's just simply a waste. It's simply a waste. It's simply a waste. So for me, I would say that, like I have here, when you are met with negative pushback of your product, you do not refute it. That's one thing I always tell people. Never refute it. That's a data for you. That's an information for you. About somebody pushing back about your product or your service, you have been given a treasure, because that information that you get, you can use it to upgrade your pitch deck. You can use it to upgrade on the messaging on your marketing materials across board. You can use it to know that, okay, I said this thing and this was the pushback I get. I know too well not to repeat it when I'm talking to somebody else. Do you understand? Because when you get that kind of pushback from a potential customer, right? Even if you are trying to upsell a product or your service, let's say, for example, RiseWest decides to create another offering, and existing customers that are with them, they decided to take, okay, their business developer, okay, this one, that one, get on the call with all of our existing customers and begin to push this new product and marketing 1 week or 2 weeks before they start pushing it from the business development side. Let us start seeing email marketing campaigns, SMS to consolidate on it, paid promotion across different touch points, either in push notification. I know Advantar can do all of those ones for you, right? When you start doing all of those things, synergize together across board from marketing and sales. By the time they start doing that, the feedback you are getting in pushback becomes for you a material that you are using to reinforce your mission and to change tactics. So I would say that when you are getting that pushback, respect it, acknowledge it, but give the advantage of what your product will do, right? Show the expertise that you have, right, about your product, which is relying on your product knowledge, right? And also show the expertise that you have as a consultant, having helped people. So for a person who is working with RiseWest, what you are selling is not investment. You are not selling investment. You are selling a legacy. You are selling a tool of empowerment. You are selling an opportunity to carve for yourself your own story beyond what everybody is shouting, T-Pain, no T-Pain. But do you know that that cannot, is that your own story? Temi, see the way your face is shining. If you look at Gertrude's DP,
It's my foundation. It's my foundation.
It's your foundation. Oh, that money that you use to buy that foundation. So the thing is, you must understand how to marry all of these things together, whether it is product knowledge, and even, I always say, the knowledge of the industry is very, very important. The knowledge of the industry is very, very important. So even as you are doing product knowledge, you must also include it, because for me, For my people, I'll always tell them, you are not salespeople, you are consultants. So when you are sitting with a potential client or you are sitting with an existing client, they must not hear that money-mongering desire to just collect money from people from your voice. It is not me. I don't represent that. What they should hear from you is a value-driven, impact-driven consultant who is coming here to give to them the biggest deal of their lifetime that they cannot look away from. And beyond the deal, there's something beyond it that we are bringing to you, a relationship with RiseVest, a relationship with Advantar, such that whatever is your need will be with you every step of the way. We are not just here to take your money. So in that also, webbed in your strategy are going to be impact-driven campaigns, impact-driven activities. Do you understand? So take, for instance, let's say that I want to create a marketing strategy that would help me to drive the adoption of a new service. Let's say RiseVest decides to create a package for people who are confused about what they will do after they move away from a job, right? You know, this happens very well during this end of the year. People become wise like Solomon, and they start thinking about what they want to do with their life. Shall I resign? Shall I travel out? Some people just resign with no sense of what they will do. But within that 3 months, an organization like RiseVest can just suddenly launch or begin to launch a product in December. That money that you have made in the year 2024 over time, can you use this package to help you manage this fund that can just help you still allow your money work for you, pending the time that you get another job? So it just becomes a stopgap, and it becomes the bridge between that stopgap between when you stop a job and when you pick up another, something that fits into that. And then you now begin to use maybe webinars, or you use an event, right? In that event, create activities, maybe drama, or maybe a musician that loves to use storytelling to, you know, talk about life and all of that. Get that person in that event. Set some things in the mind of people in the course of that event. Bring in RiseVest in the middle of the event to talk about that product, not about any other product, because giving people too many options sometimes will not make them make immediate decisions, right? After that, they leave. Bombard them with email, bombard them with SMS. Get your salespeople. If you can't, go to these people who are into customer support and hire people who, what they do as an agency is they have customer support. Get them to call people who attended that event and people who are also part of people who responded to the email. Get them on the call. And this is not part of what you are saying. I'm already going into strategy. But then what I'm saying is this: to achieve growth, either in revenue or in the efficiency of your team, there are a whole lot of things that need to be synchronized together. And product knowledge is definitely important. Product knowledge is important. But your ability to push back the negativity, your ability to be able to undo those objections, dependent on the mastery that you have gained in navigating between those knowledge, product knowledge, industry knowledge, understanding of the channel that brought those people, understanding of the clients themselves, their problems and their needs. All of this is factored in depending on your ability to ask the right question. That helps you to channel the conversation along the line that you want.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. We have gone, oh God, we have gone past the time. Not past the time. I mean, we're still on track. But
yes,
I really wanted to touch on the last
yeah.
question. Yes. Anyways, I mean,
so let me use the last 5-10 minutes to answer that.
Okay. I mean, if I were you, the participants, I would just drop the name of my company, because it seems like it's only RiseVest that is just people are not in the spirits.
It's because she was the only one.
Okay, so the last question will be: how can startups and smaller businesses compete with larger companies to attract top-tier sales agents or sales talents?
Okay. You know, I think I've already answered a bit of it. Companies don't compete with companies. It's value chain against value chain. the ocean is very red in this country. What's Enoch technology into?
I like
Is it Enoch?
you.
Is it Enoch? It looks like Enoch. I studied linguistics. The way I'm looking at that, it looks like Enoch. Is that it?
Yeah, you can unmute your mic, please, and say, is it Enoch or Enoch?
Enoch.
I
Enoch.
know. I know. Are you SpongeBob brother? Because he said Enoch here, come on.
Oh my God. Enoch, no worry. You'll use your company name now for the last question.
So, Enoch, what are you into?
We assist content creators to monetize their content with the power of subscriptions, selling of products.
All these people that like to give a 1 minute speech. Do I look like an investor? What do you do? Just talk to me like as if I'm your customer.
Okay. We assisting. I'm not really a salesperson, so I'm the founder of the company. So that's the reason why. So you just assist people to monetize their content. So you can sell
You assist
subscriptions.
people to monetize their content.
Yes. You can
So it's
sell
like from
subscriptions
content to cash.
Yes, like just OnlyFans, but we don't allow adult content.
Oh, okay. 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 So do you have an app
Yes, it's currently being built.
under development? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So what
sorry,
competitor
Ma.
do you have?
Okay,
Yes.
okay, go ahead. Sorry, just when you're done with asking Enoch questions, I would like Oluwaseyi to ask her questions. She seems to really want to ask that
She's
question.
been, yeah, sure. So Enoch, who is your biggest competitor right now?
Currently in Nigeria, no. So, but I think the one I have, I still say is Patreon. Do you know Patreon?
So don't worry if I know Patreon or not. Just I need to know who your competitors are and why do you think they are your competitors. I think that's what I need.
Okay, Patreon, OnlyFans, and I think FanView, and so on.
So I know OnlyFans. So let's use
FanView,
OnlyFans. That is an adult platform, right?
yes.
So people create content and they monetize it. So for you, your content, your platform is also like OnlyFans, but
Yeah,
not adults.
yes.
Okay, what do you think is the biggest distribution channel for OnlyFans content?
They use other social media platforms. So
Yes,
I
like,
observed that they handpick creators from their platform and post their content on their page. So they
all
share
right,
their
so they leverage a
experiences.
lot on those influencers among their platform to
Yes.
push their product now. So to answer your question, Jamie, I don't know so much about the OnlyFans platform, but I would use Enoch and then I'll translate it into the telecom, MTN as we all know it. Now, OnlyFans is very big. I've never opened their site before, but I've heard about it. And OnlyFans is almost like in the similitude of Playboy. Playboy, I don't know who is, I don't know, there should be old people in this place. You should know Playboy. Who knows Playboy yet? Playboy, you hear of Playboy, you hear of Playboy Mansion. That's laughing. So there used to be Playboy. There used to be Playboy and Playboy Mansions where girls are brought together and they are doing their thing and they speak to the adult audience. Those times they leverage a lot on the television, the cable network, the MTVs, the BETs, and all these other channels. But Playboy came in and broke into that ecosystem. They decided to leverage on social media, and they did a lot of collaborative marketing and also influencer marketing, and they pumped a lot of money into using platforms where they could get large number of people. For an institution like Enoch, it will be a suicide mission to want to begin to engage the exact same channel that Playboy or OnlyFans is using, and to want to not, it's not using the channel is not even the problem. It's to now try to use at least a percentage, let's say 50% of their budget. That is suicide mission. So let me bring it back. I'm sure you find a lot of people who say they are into selling data. They sell data at some ridiculous rate. They sell airtime at some ridiculous rate. But you know that it does not matter how big they are at their initial entry point into the market. You can never compete with MTN or telecom on the basis of brand positioning. So, competing with big leagues, don't even try to compete with them on the basis of brand positioning or on the basis of brand identity or on the basis of PR. See, when organizations invest a lot in PR, in brand, do you know? I know many people may not know this, but do you know that the person that they are actually trying to fuel their perception of them is not the market that they are selling to, but you, their competitor? Because it's like a two-edge, right? It's a two-edge. This edge and this edge. This one, it should shape the perception of how competitors view them. Because you don't necessarily have a sense of how they operate 100% internally. It is what you see them do that determines your perception of how big they are. Now, for the markets, the way they are positioned beside every other people determines how big that the potential customer thinks that they are. How loud they are in talking about their value proposition, how loud and how daring they are to step out of the competition in terms of events, in the choice of influencers, in the choice of marketing messages and languages, in the choice of what they would even use for promotional. 3B, as a small business person, you cannot do that now. You cannot do that. So what you would rather do is find out value chain. What is the significant value chain that contributes to the revenue creation of businesses within this sector? Where does this value chain come from? And do people go there? So let's ask ourselves. Let's come to OnlyFans. If people want to find OnlyFans, or they want to find, is it Patreon that Enoch says? Where do they go to, Enoch?
You search on Google.
They go to Google. So at the top of channels, or value chain channels, is Google, right? Where else do they go to? So when they go to Google, what do they go to? Or where do they go to when they go to Google? Is it their website or is it their app?
It's the website.
For a review channel.
Can you repeat the question, please?
When people go to Google to look for OnlyFans, is it the website they are looking for? Is it the app they are looking for? Or are there review channels? Channels that give review about a particular service? What really are they looking for?
It's the website. Because even currently their app is not available on Play Store because of
App websites, right? So the website is what they look for. But do you know that for an institution like myself, I cannot remember any client that I've been engaging with in the over 10 years I've been interacting that has ever asked me for website. I can't remember ever running a paid promotion to website. You know that retargeting that we say we do. I've never done it. But because experts have told us that as a small business, when you want to set out, you must have a website. You must have your social media. All the social media, you must have it so that somebody will not go and call your name when you become big. If they tell you to tell me, you must secure your name by registering a business name. I did not register my business in 2019 until 2019, and I've been operating since 2015. Even that one says is business name. So I'm saying this to say that there are certain elements that determine the authenticity, that allows for differentiation, that are not in the superficial things that we pursue, that forms the basis of competition in the market. Rather, look for the value chain that contributes to the transaction activity, or that contributes to the generation, and also to generation of revenue rather, and that also gives visibility to your people. So for me, I would always tell more business owners, you don't have to be in all the social media. Should I start crying? Please go where your you go to look for solution. If you can find out where they go to look for solution, make use of that as your channel. For us at that domain, of course, we have the different channels that we are present in. For my sister, I only use 2 major channels, LinkedIn and IG. I only use IG so that it will not look like we are not present in a platform where we have, those Gen Zs that are now big managers. For businesses, I can tell you the number of previews and views, and also Google My Business. Many people don't talk about that a lot. The organic views that I get from Google My Business is alarming. And the usage of certain hashtags that have accumulated over time, majorly from LinkedIn and Instagram, it contributed to how the page or the business performs on Google. Go on here and you look for Omotola Dorcas. There was a time I was ranking for the startup founder, but I think I've changed my
approach.
I'm building another, because I didn't like some of the people that I was being clustered with. So the thing is, for small businesses, don't try to compete. Logo is not that logo. Why now? This is my 3rd logo in 10 years. 10 years, that's almost 13 years now. This is my 3rd logo. So logo is not as important as understanding your market and understanding what they want and answering to that need. Rather than investing money on brand materials, on investing money on events that does not consolidate or does not guarantee revenue, invest your money in activities that allows you to position yourself where your people are. Invest money in building capacity of your team. See, there's nothing like having a solid team. You may not have the office. Temi, I'm sure you know that virtual domain does not have the office. We don't. I work with
Sorry.
the likes of Fidelity Bank. I work with the likes of Standard Bank. I work with Advert. I work with all of these businesses. Of course, my reputation in my own career over time has helped me. But then, building integrity in business is not in the beautiful color of your logo. See how simple and basic my logo is. This white will turn to black on a white. It will turn to white on a black. It's simple. It's VG marketing. Of course, there are certain degree of thoughtfulness that goes into this minimalist design. But the truth of it came, I used to use a white, red, and black logo, very bold. I just started then. Do you know the people that gave me inspiration? Airtel. Well, I
Okay.
just looked at it, I'm like, but I'm a very simple human being. As you can see, I don't like makeup. Not that I can't do it, I use it where necessary, but I realize that in every of my interactions, in even the way I deploy my strategy, even in my trainings, I like to break things down. You can see even in how I'm teaching, right? It has to be, I want people to be able to regurgitate whatever I teach, be it in my language or in their language, and it should make sense each time they turn it over and over and over again. Not using some complex English that is so gigantic, I look like a professor when I leave, and at the end of the day, you can't even remember some of what I said. So when I look at that, I'm like, so my logo is like my house. I don't have an office. So I need something that truly represents who I am. It's elegant, it's exotic, it's premium, but yet it's simple. Anyone, because for me, like I said, the essence of what we do at Virtual Domain is to feed and support the talent economy of the country and even of Africa. And if I am going to be competing, I can never see PwC, who is a consulting company, as a competitor. From where? I can never see KPMG as my competitor. Even Sales Ruby is not my competitor. Because that's the mistake that many people make. I tell people, when you are trying to measure or you're trying to do your market research or competitor analysis, don't be, I even like the fact that Enoch knows that OnlyFans is not its competitor. Sometimes your competitors are not necessarily people that are doing exactly what you are doing. But if they have related service that you are providing, and both of you are targeting the same customer or type of customer, then on that basis, you are competitors. So your differentiation is actually what will set you apart in terms of how people find you and how you communicate your value proposition. So you want to look at people who are within the same territory in terms of region, in terms of state. A person who is a fashion designer cannot be thinking that Tara Grotoye's fashion house is a competitor. No, because you don't have the fund. You don't have the reputation. You don't even have the market size, because when you calculate your market size in terms of what their average revenue is and what they make annually, and you divide that, multiply it by 100, your market size is nothing. So you want to look for somebody who has been operating approximately within the same bracket, maybe 0 to 5 years at most. Maybe Enoch now is in Lagos, right? And his service covers Lagos and Ibadan, Osun, and Ogun State. So you want to look for people who have coverage within that same sector and a bit more than you do as your competitors, not the people that are there. Because what you don't know is that the competitors that have been significantly creating a name for themselves, having everything in the market, when you are putting yourself at par, expectations is not affordable. See, that's why I said, see, business is not fair. It's not fair. So when they are demanding of you standard, you have already placed yourself as a competitor to them. So the same expectation that they have of them is not going to be, it will be imbalanced if they do not ask of you the same. So we must really, really put that into consideration.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, ma'am. I know we've gone beyond your time, but please let us answer Oluwase's question as well as Space for. Gertrude also has one more question to ask. So Shay, please go ahead.
Hello, good evening. Thank you
Good
so
evening.
much. You've given so much knowledge. Thank you so much. So my question is about this like I'll call it like a sales playbook. You sort of mentioned it in passing, and I'd like to know what the content of this document should be, and what other documents or materials do you think salespeople need to just enable them close effectively?
Okay. Sales what?
I said you mentioned about a document. I don't think you called it a name, but I just decided to call it a playbook.
Okay.
Or some people call it a sales Bible. Some people call it a sales playbook.
Yes. So what should be the content of this document, and then what are all other like documents or materials you think salespeople need to enable them close effectively?
Okay. The concept of a playbook is stuff that captures your sales process, right? And captures the journey that both your salespeople and your customers would go through before, and also it captures their interaction or relationship between one another and where they eventually end up, which is buying, right? So when you say that you have a sales playbook, it is subject to your sales process. There is a generic sales process, but then there are sales processes that are dynamic to the institution. That's so this is what I mean. When you have a playbook, right, what it captures is your sales process. It also captures the interaction of your salespeople and your potential customers and their journey together. It also captures where they eventually end up at the end of the day. Within your sales process, it could also capture the funnel. You know, I was explaining that there is the sales funnel and there is the marketing funnel. So when you say you have a sales playbook, what you have is something that any salesperson within your organization, when they come in, they can digest it to understand what the basic day-to-day interaction of them is. What should they say to customers? Where should they potentially position the business in terms of channels and in terms of channels of distribution? What is the sales process? So a generic sales process can be prospecting, right? So a sales process is captured within the funnel. So let's say you have, hi God, I hope I can, I know I don't have much time. So let's say, I don't know if this is possible for you to see. I'll try.
All right, let me see. Can you see me? Can you see what I have here?
Yes.
All right.
We can
So
see
let's
it.
say that this, let's say that this is a funnel, right? This is a funnel. At the top of this place, right, is the top of the funnel activity. And what happens there is prospecting. I don't know. I think my biro has developed a mind of its own. Let me see. So what you have here is prospecting. Prospecting is the activity that we do in scouting and looking for people such that when we engage them, we are trying to find out if there could be, that person needs to be muted, is interacting.
Yes, I
Such
have.
that, yeah, such that when they are interacting with people, they are looking for opportunity, because the essence of prospecting is to look for opportunity. So when your salesperson comes into your organization and they begin to interact with people, you expect that they go out either online or offline to prospect. When prospecting is done, lead generation, when it is done effectively, lead generation happens. I call it LG, life is good. Because after you have been able to find a person who you have located that inherent in them is a potential to do business, you have found an opportunity. What you do is you collect their numbers or you collect their contacts so that you can engage them. Once you bring them into your funnel, another thing happens here. Interest is generated. INTG, right? Because it's one thing for you to interact with somebody on the call, or maybe they just made an inbound call, or maybe you just met at an event. You may not necessarily be able to talk a lot, and I do not advise you to talk extensively, especially if that person is not necessarily giving you the green light, or the person is not, if it's not the right place to talk business. Please don't be too driven to want to sell that you do that. So what you do is you collect their number, you book an appointment. Once an appointment is booked, right, and then you begin to engage them to really qualify them, right, to find out, oh, is there really interest in this person? What type of interest does this person have in my product? Once interest has been generated and you begin to engage them and you're bringing them further down into the funnel, what happens is that engagement starts, right? My Spiro is not writing, ENG, not English. Engagement starts, right? Engagement meaning that there is now a back and forth. Maybe your first meeting, your second meeting is done. You are already going for inspection, or you are doing a presentation where you are showing them what your application looks like, what are the different opportunities that are there for RightVest, what are the different opportunities for content creators on Enoch, all of those things. After then, once you've been able to secure people and you have brought them further, one thing you should know is the more people move into this place, the smaller they are in numbers. At the top of the funnel, which are some of the activities that we do on our social media platforms, we have a lot of people there. Numbers troop in. That is why you will create an event or you do lead generation, 100 people applied. But you realize that the more the salespeople are following this process, the smaller that number will be becoming, which is why it is called a funnel. By the time they get to this place, something happens there. The type of people that you find under engagement are consideration, right? People who, I call the CONS, right? People who are now beginning to consider to use that service. After then you now have close, which is the one that you have at the bottom. At the bottom of closing is your retention. Now, I may not have my board here to show all of this. I showed all of this to show you that. So when you say you have a playbook, these are some of the things that your playbook contains. Your step-by-step sales process. Your playbook also contains different type of information about your products. Do you understand? Your playbook also contains different types of pitch or entry pitches. How should you introduce yourself when you are talking with after you have done also within your playbook can also be your stakeholder mapping concepts. Stakeholder mapping is for example, RiseVest sells to B2B. So if you have a business or you have a team that sells to B2B, your team members must understand how to carry out stakeholder mapping for every organization that they sell to. For them to do that, you must have created a playbook, or inside that playbook, what are the most important positions or job, I think it's positions, we call them job roles, right? That are critical to making decision making. fundamental to the decision that they would use your product. So is it the HR? Is it the operations manager? So before you get to the operations manager, who within the organization should a salesperson look out for? Because within an organization is always a door of entry. So people, because of my position, it is easy for me to go directly to a CEO and talk to them about my service. And I've been as daring as that since I can remember. I've never had to go through a subordinate to speak to the CEO. But sometimes it is good to have such kind of playbook, such that whether you have an entry-level executive, do you understand? Yes, your ideal customer profile and your buyer persona are all captured within your stakeholder mapping. Also understanding which role or who within the organization can easily help you with an introduction to give you an opportunity to talk about your product or your service. That playbook also captures it. Also your pitch. So you have different type of pitches. Like you don't want to know how many different type of pitches I have that has been updated over time due to that weekly engagement that I talked to you about. So a salesperson has enough information to prep them. You know, the way you prep a pumping machine. You know, when you're prepping it, if the pumping machine is not, if it is during dry season and it's not pumping enough, they'll tell you to go and prime it. Pour water at the top so that, do you understand? So it must be contained in that. Yes, your pitches, most especially your introductory pitches. So for me, there are days I would say, hi, my name is Omotola, I'm a growth specialist. Do you understand? I could say that my name is Omotola, I am a salesperson and I work with salespeople. I have over a decade of experience below my belt, right? I delight myself in helping organizations to make money, and I also try to transfer that knowledge to their teams. Hence the reason why I am into training and consulting. Specifically, I don't work with any other people aside your sales and your revenue-driven roles, and that's it. Within an organization, I don't work with any other people aside from that. If they are not salespeople, if they are not business developers, if they are not people within your strategy, if they are not your customer success representative, if they are not your marketing, I am not interested. Aside from maybe you now want to do a training around leadership and management, because that becomes a different ballgame entirely. Because you ought to be able to, at the top level, ensure that whatever it is that is coming down can trickle down to the rest of the team. And you need people that you can constantly help to reiterate that information and give them the skill set and knowledge to ensure that. So basically what you have in your playbook are those information that you can give to a new person coming on board. They understand the product. They also understand what are the processes. They also understand the documentations. So your playbook also contains. So I remember in my former place of work, this was 2019, 2020, I worked with a UK analytics firm. So in our playbook, we also had the different type of documents that we must have, such that after we have taken a potential client from the prospecting to lead generation to interest to disengagement, the moment they are at the consideration stage, there are some type of documents that we should share with them. This information is what we call our brochure, because we also do training. So we created different brochure for different training services. In that brochure is the topic, the description, the target market, why attend that classes, training outcomes, training objectives, the curriculum, the duration, and who the contact person is. So each of our training programs, we were taking data analysis, data engineering, cloud business engineering, data science, cybersecurity. Each of those programs had their brochures. So it was listed in the playbook. So you know that if you are coming on board, you must have it. We also had customized emails are also written in the playbook. This playbook can be an ebook, to be candid. It does not necessarily have to be a book like this. It can be a folder, right? It can be a folder that contains all the most important information that a person needs to go out there to work. Because what I often tell organizations, you must understand that your employees are intrapreneurs. So it's more or less like whatever you are giving them in budget, in marketing, in salary, is like you giving them capital to run a business, a subsidiary of your business within the business itself. So they need all the necessary documentation for compliance, as it were, that they need to function. Temi, my time is gone.
Yes, I know.
I'm late already.
I'm so sorry,
I'm
and thank
33
you
minutes
so
late.
much. Yes,
Right.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I know we have 2 more questions. I don't know if you can take them. If you cannot,
What's the question?
okay. Spaceful and Gertrude, please. Let's make it very quick. You can ask the questions together, back to back.
Thank you so much. A part of my question has been answered already, so I won't go into that.
Amazing.
So I just want to. So I run a data analytics company. So we help companies make decisions using data from market research, data collection, analytics as a service, just everything around data. It's 5 years old. In those 5 years, we've partnered with a lot of bigger data companies, Ipsos, Kantar, etc. So they've been outsourcing to us, which has been good. Right now, we want to start to go out ourselves, right? Not outsource projects. We've been putting the sales team together. We still have a couple of vacancies just in case. But if you are to tell me 2 things as a founder and CEO to pay attention to, what are those 2 things going to be? Now we are transitioning from depending on those bigger guys to give us projects, which has been good, by the way. We're transitioning to we going out to hunt for our own food, and we are putting a sales team together to do that. So what are the 2 most important things that you would advise me to do or to pay attention to?
So for me, there are 3 things. Number 1 is industry knowledge. Number 2 is their leadership prowess. And number 3 is their expertise. Now, a sales, I know it is easy for a salesperson in real estate who has done significantly well to say he wants to pivot into tech because of the job that he has done so well in real estate and transfer himself into tech. But to be truthful, it's really going to be difficult for such person to adapt. Why? Because the knowledge that he or she has married with has bred certain things in him that he would need to disown them for him to be able to truly function within a tech ecosystem, because these terrains are different. So for you who now wants to begin to enter into the market, you do not want to be an outsourcing team, an outsourcing organization. You now want to generate your leads by yourself. You want to position your business as a leading or as a pioneering or whatever you give us in the market. You need people who have industry knowledge. And they have industry knowledge because they have been in the industry. They know their way in the industry. They do not only have the network, but they have the relationship or knows how to secure that relationship. You need such kind of person. Now, your product or service has to do with a lot of abstract things. So you need somebody who is a salesperson, who is a challenger, also a charismatic, with a sprinkle of somebody who is maybe a lone wolf. Because you need someone who is very, very proactive, can make decisions, meaning that you also give them a degree of autonomy. Because one thing I have found that when you are selling technical solutions is that sometimes decisions need to be made immediately. And the client may not be able to tell you to come back, because I've sold cloud computing services before when we were partners with AWS. Do you understand? So as a salesperson, I am engaging with you as a consultant, because that is what we call them. We are not calling them sales executive. They are technical sales consultants. When they are sitting with somebody at the board, they are interacting with the person with the understanding of certain technicalities that surround the concept of what they are selling. So they can isolate problems and they can profile solution on the spot. And they can find the right service that you provide that will fit into that problem. So a person, take for instance, we went into a partnership, better than we into a partnership with She Foundry, right? And She Foundry was asking me 2 days ago, Omotola, do you guys do market feasibility studies? Yes, we do. And on the spot there, they began to ask questions. What are the things that you consider and how much do you charge? Now, I don't need to go and be running to look for documents because market research is something that I understand. The concept of feasibility studies is what I understand. I have interacted with people within that place. I have case studies. I have applications. I have use cases. At that point, when I begin to talk about virtual domain and that particular service, I will not be talking like my name is Omotola. I work with virtual domain. What virtual domain? It's no longer about what virtual domain is about. It's the relevancy of that service to the solution. You need people who can function in that way. So of course, they may be your team, but they should function somewhat like an independent consultant, although they are your staff. And that is how you need to position them in the market. So for me, some of my sales team are called training consultants, right? For our service, they are technical consultants. Because that way, whoever is interacting them within the organization, especially B2B, they know that these guys, they know what they are doing. So for me, those are some of the things, their expertise. How well do they understand the industry? How well do they understand the service? How well can they interpret it to someone? Not just technicalities, but how can they tie it to the business side of business, to the transactional side of business? Because a person who wants to use your service is considering, okay, how efficient is it? What is the integrity of the data? Who have they worked with? How long have they been in the industry? Do you understand? It's not even the price, because there are some institutions that will never negotiate price when it comes to data. I have worked with them because the integrity of the data and the source or channel of such data is important. So for me, those are the things that I would say that you should consider. Definitely, if you give that opportunity, I would love to work with your team.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm going to reach out after this call and see how we can move it forward.
Temi is my peer.
I agree.
Temi.
Okay, thank you so much, Ma. All right, last question, please. Gertrude, let's have you.
This has
Let's
been very
have it.
insightful. Thank you. Thank you so much for organizing this. So my question is, in summary, I know I came in very late and I didn't get the most of the presentation, but in summary, what would you tell someone who is going into sales operations for the first time? How can that person manage and build a winning sales team? That's my question. Thank you.
For me, I would want to ask what the person's foundation is. A person who is going into sales operation must understand the concept of project management. Because when you are talking about sales operations, it really leverages a lot on technology, automating certain processes and ensuring that the right person is placed in charge of certain tasks. It speaks to your ability to constantly shuffle and reshuffle your team to achieve a particular goal. Understanding who is the closer, understanding who is the person who is very strong with follow-up, understanding who is the best thing that you can send into a red ocean and they don't have a problem. Understanding what are the different processes that they integrate into how they work and what are the different automation processes that must be put in place. How do you leverage your CRM? What are the different things that you need to arm your salespeople when they go out? For example, if you want to sign and you know that there are some persons that are necessary for in terms of some policies that might need to be signed, right? Take for instance, myself, Virtual Domain and Utiba, we're going to go into a partnership because they are a technical training provider. We are not. And we somewhat sell to the same market. So I remember when we were going to sign our signature, they used Zoho signature. I've never used Zoho signature before, but for me, it was quite profound, right? And it was something that I feel like even if people who are in insurance can know about this is something that they can use. So what they do is that the Zoho of it, there's a way you can arrange the order of signatory to a document. So once the first person signs and submits, automatically the second person is triggered. The second person signs, automatically the third person is signaled. That way, there's no need to be sending message to this one, sending message to this one, and be following up. Because the truth is, if the first person does not sign, it is holding everybody at ransom. So we know who to follow up with. So when you're talking about sales operations, efficiency is at the core. Automation is at the core of what you are doing. The ability to sit down and have an oversight, right? An holistic oversight of what the entire end-to-end of your sales process will be, to predict what could be the possible thing that this salesperson will need or this sales team will need in terms of technology, in terms of documentation, in terms of activities, and how do you put all of them together as a system is important. So that's why I'm saying, for someone who wants to be enrolled or who wants to be promoted into the role of sales operations, then basic project management skills is important for them. Did I answer your question?
Yes, please. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It was two parts. So the second part of the question is, so what are the things that I should look out for? Well, I already manage a team, quite frankly, but in your opinion, what are the things that I should look out for when building a winning sales team? Summarily. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So it still boils down to what you want to achieve. So you know that a business is in different stage. Remember, Temi, when we were saying that when you want to recruit a person into a role, depending on the objective and the stage that the business finds itself, determines the type of person that they bring into the team.
Yes.
So if the business is at a stage where they are growing, so you know that you want to bring together people who do not need to be persuaded a lot, who can work independently but understand teamwork. Because you want a situation whereby results can be duplicated across multiple. Now, since you have scaled, then you need more of challengers. You need more of lone wolves. Because to be candid, as much as I am all for team building, sometimes you just need people who can face the work and just do it. And maybe for you as operations person, you can either be doing a one-to-one meeting and just do some periodic team meetings to get feedback then. But you need them to have autonomy. So you want to look for people. I don't know if you were around when we're talking about the different type of personalities in sales teams and how bringing them together is important. I think I don't know if I still have them here. I was saying that we have the hard workers, we have the lone wolves, we have the charismatics, we have the reactive problem solvers. So
That's the sales personalities.
Yeah, the different type of salesperson. So because when you are interacting with them, depending on how you see them act, you can easily know who is the reactive problem solver. The reactive problem solver are those type of people who are not proactive. It is until when you are telling them that your target is 100 million and you have not even hit 50 of it, you have to start asking them, so what is your pipeline conversation looking like? How many leads has been generated for you over time? You have to start asking some this should not be. Those type of people, until they see that a query could potentially be coming, or maybe it's almost towards the end of the month, before they start running up and down, and they want to quickly go for that meeting, they want to quickly go for that event. Those type of people are not necessary. You may just need to reshuffle them and put them somewhere. But you want people like challengers who are goal-oriented, who understand what needs to be done. They are go-getters. They are highly confident. They don't need so much of motivation to do what needs to be done. They have years of experience, but then in terms of personality, they have such high agency in there. Those are the type of people you want to put in your mix. Also, you want to put people who are like the charismatics, because the thing is, you need a blend of people who are go-getters and people who understand how to build rapport. So that within your sales process, after you have drafted out the sales process for the team, you know who are the people that you can easily put at the beginning of the process. Charismatic people, people who know how to create conversation. They are ice-breaking conversationalists, right? But the only problem that they have that they easily get distracted. So you pair them with challengers, or you pair them with lone wolves. Areas where the lone wolves might be defaulting in terms of social skills. The charismatic person, naturally, they don't see it as a work,
a task.
Yeah, they don't see it as a task. It's natural. And you just put them into it. So you must be able to really decipher which your salesperson that you are bringing in falls into. And that makes it easy for you to have a good team. Then you know what you are going to be doing is how do you interact with them. See, I've said it several times, salespeople, they thrive on trainings. They thrive on trainings. So that is also important.
Amazing. We love you, Ma. Thank you so much for spending so much time. When she called me behind the scene, let me give you this gist. She called me behind the scene and said, Temi, I'm not staying till the end of this call. This webinar. I'm leaving before 6 o'clock. I said, okay, Ma. Now, see, I didn't even have to stretch it. She just willingly went beyond and beyond. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. We love you. It was an entertaining, it was a valuable session. I'm so happy. And for those who missed it, I mean, I'm sorry. For people you know that missed this, please go back and tell them to join the fourth edition.
Omotola Dorcas is my name. I have one big wig like that on my status. But you
I think I will just,
there.
Yes, I think I will just drop her email address so that if you want to send a direct message, you can. Give me 1 minute to copy and paste that email address. Okay, and so we have come to the end of this. 1 minute, please. Let me know once you get it. Is that right, ma'am?
Let me see.
virtualdomain@gmail.com.
Okay, that's my Gmail. So for people who think you don't have official email, let me give you my official email.
Let's get that one. Okay.
So you can find me at Omotola@virtualdomain.org.
Omotola@virtualdomain.org.
Don't mind me. I put that virtual domain because you don't want to see the type of messages that we get. Yes. Yeah. So that's the email.
Okay. I'm gonna pin it. Yes, I'm gonna pin it. So please, if you want to engage Omotola one-on-one, you can please email her. Of course, there is so much to be learned from her, right?
I take delight in working with people. It's just something I enjoy.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you everybody for being a part of this. We appreciate you. And yes. Okay, last thing, ma'am. Would you want to wait till the end or you want us to excuse you?
We have Japa already. No, yes.
We love you.
All right. Thank you, Gertrude. Thank you, Spaceful, Adenowo, Enoch, Joy, everyone. I can't see all of our names. Thank you, Eno. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate my time here. Temi.
Thank you, Ma. Have a good one. All right, guys. Okay, so now we're talking Advantar. Thank you again for being with us. I mean, it was supposed to be at 6:30, but we've gone past the time. So I'm just going to give this. Remember, Kayode had mentioned, the CEO at Advantar had mentioned we have 2 offers for our participants or our members, right? And the first one will be, we're offering a lead generation for businesses who want to scale their revenue in 2025, right? So if you have plans to scale your revenue in 2025, you can reach out to us via our DM advantar.xyz, or you can send us a mail to workwithadvantar@gmail.com. Now, the second offer would be, we're considering a sales training for businesses who have a sales team and they feel their sales team needs serious help also. Right? If you have a sales team already and you think they need help, reach out to us as well. I mean, for some cases, we'll be in collaboration with Omotola Dorcas, right? Depending on how in-depth the situation is, right? But yes, we're also here to help you. Reach out to us, spread the word, refer us, come by yourself, have a one-on-one session with us. I mean, this is just what, a 1 hour 30-minute session, and see how power-packed it is. Imagine having that one-on-one session with the CEO or with Omotola Dorcas herself. Do you understand? See you at Advantar. We look forward to hearing from all of you, and thank you. See you at the 4th edition of the Growth Series. Thank you so much. Okay, Gertrude said, okay, I'm going to copy this. Yes, let's link up immediately after this meeting. Gertrude, really, it will really be nice to talk to you. Yes, let's connect. I'm going to connect with you as soon as I'm done here. Thank you so much, Shay. Thank you, Enoch. Thank you, Spaceful, even though I didn't get your name. Bye, everyone. Have a good evening ahead. Bye. Wale Adeyemo. All right. Thank you. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Growth is the dream of every entrepreneur. But what does it really mean? Is it just about numbers? More customers, higher revenue, bigger market share. These are important, but are they the whole picture? Growth is about evolution. It's about transforming your business, adapting to change, and creating something new. It's a lifetime journey, a continuous process of learning, innovating, and exceeding expectations. We're your partner on this journey.